Hello, guapísimos. Guapísimos are very, very attractive people in Spanish. How are you? Today I'm talking about, where we are and the constant repetition of these cycles that we find ourselves in. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So, 4 years ago, more or less, we were in the depths of riots. There were Antifa riots everywhere, Black Lives Matter everywhere. Cities were being burned, everything was being trashed, and at the same time, we had the onslaught of the big V that came and thrust itself upon the world. Why? Well, because, in my opinion, because somebody had to try and stop what was happening with this Great Awakening and what Mr. T was doing and all of that. And then, 4 years later, as we come up to the elections in the US, interestingly enough, there doesn't seem to be much election fever being talked about, as though it's, I don't know why. Nobody's really talking. And nearly always in the year leading up to it, oh my God, that's all they talk about on the news. And yet they're not. I wonder why. I don't know. I don't know why. Anyway, so we're on the lead up to the elections. And suddenly what's happened? Well, all of the students in all of the Western worlds now are camping out, having tents bought for them. Okay? All the same colour. All the students don't have any money, by the way. They don't have any money. Where are they getting all of these tents from? And not only that, but every one of them has one of those scarves, black and white, with a checkerboard thing on the tassels, that you see lots of Arabs wearing. And they've all got them. One would think that was being financed. Just like the way I remember when Antifa used to get out of these vans, these hire vans, and they would all get out with all of this incredible outfit on and shields and everything. And you always thought, where did they get the money for that? In fact, who organised that for them all to be wearing the same things everywhere? And it's the same. Who's organising these student protests and buying them the tents and buying them these scarves? Students haven't got any money. I know. Because I used to know a lot of students and they never had any money. They were always bumming beers. I didn't go to university when I was younger. I was working and they would always be bumming beers off me. Why? Because they had nout. And so we're in that cycle again. So off it goes, and it started in the US and it's moved to the UK and it's off in all the countries. My God, one would say that it was something organised by George Soros. Who would have thought? And at the same time, well, they're desperately trying to bring in a new. Yes, I saw something. What was it the other day? Something like a dog. No, a man contracted the bird flu from a dog. That's what I saw. A headline. And I was thinking, how does that work? Look, I know because we've had bats, haven't we? We've had bats. Have you noticed? Always blame the animals. Have you noticed that? Always blaming the animals. Now, that's because animals are bad, and we all should eat Bill Gates's fake meat. That's why. Let's anti-animal. Animals are bad. They keep farting. It's creating a hole in the ozone. No, that didn't work. The hole in the ozone thing. No, it's creating extreme levels of CO2 that plants thrive on, but it's bad. Okay? And so, the press are trying to start a new little doodah, a new little plan/demic. Okay? And it's like, oh, for God's sake, we had the monkey flu, the monkeypox, that was it, monkeypox, remember? And they were pushing that. Nah, didn't work. It was too quick. Now they're pushing the H 1N1. I'm saying it slowly so it doesn't get picked up. I think it's that, isn't it? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? But they're pushing it. Like, oh, you know, and they're saying 1 in 4 people could die. That's 25%. Okay. Now I seem to remember at the beginning of the other one that those kind of numbers were bandied around as well. Yeah. And at the end, what was it? It was 1 person in 75,000 million, something like that. Okay. So all exciting stuff. So I was asking the emissaries about that, and I said, look, you know, I can see all these cycles, like, oh, for God's sake, you know, is it election time again? Have we got to have the riots again? Have we got to have another virus now? And they said they'll try anything. However, the climate is not right for them. And that's astrologically, it's not right, because I've heard the experts talking about it, and they're saying it's not right. There's nothing that will hold. It's not the right moment, nor will it be going forward. But they said that people are not in that place anymore. People are so pissed off. The emissaries didn't say that. I'm saying that. People are so pissed off now. Pissed off. That's the only expression that I can use that sums it up. People are pissed off everywhere. They're really sick. And the idea of having to go through another of those moments, well, it won't work. And the emissary said that. It won't wash. What they said was that it would be very difficult to make people accept it. Because what they said is this. When they try and force this, and hey, you know, let's just assume that they do, they will be faced with a massive push of non-compliance. And it's the non-compliance that ruins it for them. They didn't get that level of non-compliance. They did get it, and that's why they brought it to the end after the time. I think they wanted to stretch it out. They wanted to have it going for about 6 or 7, 8 years or whatever. They got too much non-compliance. Non-compliance is their worst enemy. Just saying no. Why? Because we talked about it. When people turn their backs on it, they take the energy away and they haven't got the strength. And that's where they're going to be. Massive non-compliance. But the emissary said something interesting. They said, with a scheme like that, when they get massive non-compliance, what happens is it absolutely hammers their credibility. And just look at the credibility with the whole COVID thing now, with what's coming out. Their credibility's hammered. And when the credibility's hammered, it does them a big disservice. So they said it could be one of the best things ever that they try and fail, because then that will put them in an even worse situation than they were, even if they don't try, if you know what I mean. So personally, I do not want to go through another of that bullshit time. I don't want to go through another bullshit time. However, if we did, and it happened, and they pushed it, it hasn't got legs, and B, it wouldn't last long, and people would reject it, and then they would look like a bunch of twats. They already look like a bunch of twats. They'd look like more twats, like super twatful, if that's a word. So let's see the beast is wounded and it's thrashing about, but bloody hell, I mean, it's thrashing about with no skill whatsoever. No skill, just wild thrashing. So let's see what happens this year. It's very interesting. These are the most interesting times that I've been living in yet to date. Fascinating. Jesus. Well, I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.